try to maintain this aspect. Okay. Let's bridge this up. And now we can work on these fins. I think that's what these are supposed to be. So that's what I'm going to model them as. And this at the back here is our air intake. So we need to build that as well. What the heck, man? Come on. Thank you. Okay, so now if we look at our shape, front view is good. This top part is really good. The bottom part looks like it needs a little bit of TLC. So let's see what we can do for it. Something like that. So you always got to look at your model from all sides and make sure that you are making corrections and adjustments and, you know, constantly tweaking so that you get the best possible shape. So here I just added that line so that I can have one point in the middle in which to smooth out that curve. Because this part of the back here is supposed to be an air intake of some sort. So I need to build that next. Alright, so now that we have that, let's take a look if we need this and this. So this is going to be my fin. I need to see where that's going to exist so that I can build the air intake properly. Alright, so the air intake for the low poly shouldn't be too crazy. It's probably just going to be something along these lines. And we'll delete this and go all wonky. Delete that face. Thank you. And push that up. There we go. Now you'll notice on the top here I don't have an equivalent line. So I need to create that. And what I can do is I can do this, do a connect. It goes around the bend there. And here's a neat trick. So I need to draw a line from the center of this point to here. I could do a cut, but what I like to do is I want to make sure it's right in the center. So I go from center to center here, and then I just weld this to this. Now I know that this point is in the center of those two lines. So now I can come here and say, follow that curve. And it remains quads all throughout. And now I have extra geometry here to work with to round out top versus bottom. And now I have equal number on either side. So now I can do things like that. Okay. So now for the air intake here, what I'm going to do is, I think it looks like it's a really tight crosshair mesh. So I'm going to extrude, since this is going to be very, very small and you're not really going to see it at all, I'm just going to leave it like that. Delete these internal faces. I don't know why it keeps going all wonky. There we go. So we'll leave it like that, and when we create the high poly will give us everything we need for that space. Okay, let's do this. Okay. Very nice. I don't like how we did that. Let's correct that really fast. So that's on 1, that's on 2, that's on 1. 1, please. There we go. That's a lot smoother. Alright, so let's create our fin here, because our fin is looking a little lean. Let's chamfer. small amount. And now in the concept art, that's all it really is. It's just this shape. So I feel it's my duty to make it a little bit more interesting. So I'll cement that a bit more. And what I'm going to do is just select all the top pieces here, and from the side I'll give it a little rotate. Gives it a little bit of a sleeker angle to it. And let's bring this up a little bit on the bottom. Just makes things a little bit more interesting. And there we go. That turned out pretty nicely. Okay. So one more thing. Just gonna throw a little bit in the middle there, just to kind of round it out in all directions, so it's not so flat. Okay. Doesn't need to be much because it's a decorative piece on the back of this thing, but you know, we've got to put a little bit of detail in it, make it a little bit special. And that's good. That's all quads. Yes. Okay. So I'm going to add that to the original object here. Attach. Add that on there. That way it gets mirrored. And should be good with that. So there's the body, which is mirrored on the other side as well. So let's go ahead and throw a symmetry on there again. Top of the one we've already got. Center that. I believe it's Y and flip. Yes. Okay. We'll save that. Come on, Max. All right. So hope everybody's doing well. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I think we're doing really well here. We've got about an hour left. So I think what I'm going to do at this point is we're going to forego the actual bars, but we'll keep in mind that we're going to add those. I'm going to try and get everything unwrapped and put together so we can paint it a little bit before the end of the night here. So that is the goal. Let's take a look at all of our low poly stuff together. And I'm missing the wing. Okay, there we go. All right. So let's throw our symmetries on for the low poly as well. We forgot to do that. X and flip. Good. Symmetries. Y and flip. Okay, save. Now for our camera, we need to do this carefully. This is going to be some interesting symmetry. Symmetry. We do need an X and flip. Oh, I see. It's a different, because that object is already turned. But now, beyond just that, we need to also flip it. Let's see. So that just did a straight mirror. Now we need to flip it this way as well. We need another symmetry. Or no, instead of symmetrying it actually, we're just going to need to duplicate it. So its X value is this. Copy that. I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to rotate it 180 degrees, which does what we needed to do. And now I'm going to paste the value and remove the negative sign. And now it's exactly where it needs to be on the other side. Ta-da! Mathematics. So here's our drone so far. He's looking pretty good. So let's get the final high poly done and we can separate it bake it and do some painting. So, all right, march forward. All right, so our low poly is done with this. We need to unwrap it. So let's do main body, low poly. So I'm actually going to remove the symmetries for now. Oops, remove the one symmetry. We're going to keep this. Collapse, yes. So a solid piece. And let's unwrap it. Okay. So face is selected first up. Do the exhaust. Good. Top. I think that top will be good. Yeah, top, center. Yeah, okay. Just kind of planning it out as I go. Try and keep it oriented if you can, the way that it will be on the sheet. It'll make it a lot easier. Come on. Line. There we go. Let's do the bottom. Very cool. And what I'm going to do is this guy I'm actually going to do like this. So, align. There we go. Okay. Now, let's grab the front. It can actually be one long piece. Fewer seams that way. One long piece. Yep, perfect. All right, we're almost there, guys. I appreciate everybody hanging in there with me. I'm gonna create some neat stuff. Painting is my favorite part of this process. It takes the longest to get to, and that is unfortunate sometimes, but we need to have a good solid foundation before we can paint cool looking things. Okay. Next that down. Now I think all we got left are the fins, so yeah. Okay, fin relax. Fin relax. There we go. Get kind of in the zone there when you're working. So, is everybody doing okay? Anybody have any questions, anything like that? If you guys like what you're seeing and what you're experiencing here, be sure to check out the website. I'm on YouTube as well. I'm on the road to 100 subscribers by the end of the year. That's the goal. So if you guys have any friends or anybody that you think would benefit from this kind of stuff, please be sure to show them the way, and we can all make everybody better. That is the goal. Make every artist better. And we all are awesome, then the art becomes awesome. So, alright, so I think that's that whole piece. Yep, I'm going to do the same thing over here now. Just keep it going. See how fast I can do it, right? Try and get it all unwrapped super quick. Back. Next, stitch it all together. Oops. What did I miss? Internal faces that we cannot see. Okay. So I'm going to delete those. So I'll keep those selected here. But what I'm going to do is select everything, say normalize. Now everything is a scaled ratio to itself. So that's good. Collapse all, yes. Save, and we need to get those faces that we can't see. There we go, there's one. Delete you, delete you. Delete you, delete you. There we are. Solid. Save you. And I think if we do this, one, smoothing groups from UV shells, there we are. That's another neat tool. So it's automatically set all of our smoothing groups based upon our UVs, which will make sure that all of our normal maps come out looking really nice. Okay, so I'm going to collapse this. Boom. And we need to make a high poly version of this guy. And this doesn't have to be the full high poly, it can just be our base high poly, which I'll show you what that means in a second. So let me unhide all the low poly stuff really quick. And use the whole layer. Hide. There we go. Unhide all of this. Main body, that's what I want to focus on. Okay, so this is our high poly for the main body, so we got to do lots of iterations. I'm just going to do a general setup because I want to do a lot of this in Paint. So, a general setup, I mean your control edges and make sure everything is solid there, and you get the smooth edges where you want it, sharp edges where you want them, and then the rest we can do inside of Painter, because I can actually paint normal map details, which is insane. It's so good. Okay, so that's good there. I'm going to give this a little extra depth because I can. Okay, there's that. Now, as we discussed earlier, we needed these edges to remain solid for high poly later on. We needed the ooh, that's not good. There we go. So let's take a look at what we got going so far. Some of it's going to look pretty nasty because it's not done yet. Make sure that those internal edges are holding strong. They are. And make sure that these edges are holding strong. Look like pretty good. Pretty good. Okay. So now looks like a marshmallow. So this is where we need to make sure that we have good control over these edges, and something is going crazy wonky there. Look at that. Alright, so let's delete that really quick. I'll do a quick weld. Something is up there. I'm getting just absolutely insane edge selection when I did a ring here. Look at that. It wants to go all the way around that way, all the way around that way, and back around. It would be correct. Maybe I can quell it a little bit and say up and around that is fine. I don't want any of this. Or this. Or this. Well, maybe those two. Alright, let's try that. No. Oh. My fault. There we go. See? Not an expert. Still learning, just like you guys. Okay, so we got that. And we want these side wings. We need these in order to hold the shape. So one, so Slide. Turn smooth. Ooh, there you go. There you go. That was really cool. I just need to fix up the these guys real quick because these guys are way too soft. Still too marshmallow, but we're getting really close, guys. So let's ring connect. Now I'll show you the beauty of the Substance Designer and Painter because we don't even have to bake any of this ourselves. It's that good. 2 and 2, ring connect. Oh yeah, there we go. Looks like a space shuttle. Alright, and we need to also add one more thing. Because otherwise it would look weird. We need to give it a construction seam. So I'm going to give it a construction seam, but I'm going to make it a little bit lower than we usually do. Just for some variety and more realism. So there's that. And connect, extrude, local, in a bunch. And connect 2 and oh, excuse me, that's my phone. Mario needs something. Let's see what it is. Ah. Okay. Apologize. Turn that off so it doesn't disturb us again. Let's see, almost there. Ring connect 1. Oops, 1. Oh, we're very close. And there we go. Not quite that close. Okay, guys. There we go. So we have our construction scene. See how this thing was snapped together. Looks pretty good. We got room for like a logo or some text on the top. And we have our opening for our vents in the back. I think that's going to be good. So now let's get these pieces processed so they can be exported, and then we're going to throw that into Painter, Designer, and then Painter. Alright, so let's hide all of our high poly stuff because we're going to need to make it one massively crazy thing here. Okay. So we'll hide that, unhide our low poly, and bring it all out. We need to take a look at everything. What we need is the lowest common denominator. So what I need is one camera, one of these, one of these, one of these, and one of these, but they all need to be separate from one another. I can't have anything touching one another. So I need to do what's called an exploded bake. So you explode bake, and you apply that to the final object, okay? So what I'm going to do is select, I'll turn off the symmetry, and these are all duplicates. I'm just going to hide them for now. Hide selection. There we go. Okay. And hide selection. So really, this is all we need to bake is these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces. Okay. So what we're going to do is do a save. Save as, just so we don't mess anything up. And yeah. Okay. I'm going to turn on my auto key, and I'm going to start selecting pieces that I know need to move. This guy needs to move, so I'm going to at 0, 0, he's fine. Go to frame 10, and he needs to move by a specified amount. So on the Max is frozen. What did I do, Max? Come on. Ooh. Did not like that one bit. Okay, there we go. So on the z-axis, I'm going to add 10. So it goes way up there, okay? And with that still on, if you notice as I scroll, you know, it goes back and forth. So I'm going to do the same thing here. Go to 0, set a frame, put 10. I'm going to just pick a different axis and say -10 on the x. There we go. Go back to 0. Get that. 10, y, 10. There we go. Those are all separated. And I think everything is good except I want to move this guy a little bit because I think he's a little too close to other things. So I'm going to move him -10. And it should be all good. One more, I'm going to move him too. So say set 10, and on the x we'll move you +10. Now you notice I chose 10 every time because I want to make sure that it's something I can remember. So it's easy to see and work with. And it's pretty cool to do like an exploded view of your object. Okay, so save that. Now I'm going to move to the 10 mark, and what I need to do is get one of each for the high poly now. So unhide whole high poly, and so I need fan blade. Just delete that. Well, what happened to my fan blade? Oh, there we go. Delete, symmetry, there we go. So fan blade is good. Fan blade center ring is good. That's good. Main body, what is object 001? What is this object? Oh, that's that. That's part of the camera, so we gotta remember that. And the wing. Okay. So first up is get rid of every symmetry. We don't need those. Yes. So get rid of the symmetries. Thank you. Get rid of the symmetries. And blade low poly. How did you end up way out there? Oh, haha, because we're on the 10. I was looking at it for a second there thinking, what happened? Okay, perfect. So everything's looking good so far. We just need the high poly for the fan blades. We're not going to do all the fan blades. Okay, so we're just going to select these. And maybe delete to just get the one. Just going to do the one and then we'll duplicate it for the final objects. Okay. So this guy, we're going to repeat the same process. So say set a key 10, and it looks like he went forward on the Y by 10. They need to line up. So when they line up, that's perfect. Okay, that's good. And you 10, 10, you went -10. I just like to check that they're lining up. Yes. And I will make sure that turbo smooth is turned on for each of those because it's go time. It's time for them to have turbo smooth turned on. You go up 10 and turn that off and turn turbo smooth on. Make sure the turbo smooth does not get animated to turn on and off. You have turbo smooth on, you're fine. You have turbo smooth on. Set. Go to 10. There we go. Make sure that's lined up. Yep. Okay. All we've left is the camera. Let's go here. Actually, I need to do this first. To be able to select all the pieces involved, because I need that piece too. Auto key 10 minus 10. Good, 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 good. Okay. So that's all set. Pardon me. So this is just for baking for the texture. So now what we need to do, what I should have done already, damn. Okay. Need to make some adjustments a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to make a duplicate of this fan blade. Let's see if I collapse all. I'm going to make a copy of this guy and say, remember my place. Okay? And he's just going to go away for now. We're going to come back to him. All of these need to be one object so that we can actually pack it together. And then when we separate it, we can make duplicates. Okay? So I'm going to select, doesn't matter what object we select, well, it kind of does. Let's just make sure it has a centered pivot is all. That's the only reason it matters. Let's attach everything together. Okay. Now you'll notice as I do the thing, it's now messed up our thing, so we're going to have to redo that, but that's okay. It's not that hard. Most importantly is we have everything packed together. Oh, we never did unwrap the camera. So we're going to have to do that really quick. But now everything is on one sheet packed all together here. And the important part for that is we have things like the fan up in the fin up in the corner. And this is our thing that's going to be copied 4 times and all that. So we have all of that on one sheet, and then we can take those things and really sort of figure out where they're going to go. And then they get duplicated across the texture sheet. Okay? So let's get the this guy unwrapped really fast. It's going to be really fast. Okay, one more. Yeah, that's just going to be all on its own. Okay, there we are. And let's do this. Good. Okay, that's all set. We need this to be its own thing. Yeah, that's going to be its own thing. That's the actual camera lens. It's very important. And I think the rest of this that is here is the actual camera body, so to speak. And I don't think that's really as important. It's just sort of metal, really, so I don't know the best way for that to be unwrapped, but I'm going to go for a split down the middle effect. So let's go for X. Yep. So it's doing this too. It's there when you want it, and it's there when you don't want it. Like that. Oh, I see, I see. So we'll just end at this point. At this point. So I want that. And now I want the same thing this way. There we go. Okay, so now that we have that done, okay. Please select, thank you, there. That should be more reasonable as metal. Turn back on snapping, 180 degrees. Okay, there we go. So now I'm going to select everything and hit this button to say normalize size. And this should make everything equidistantly sized to itself. And most importantly, you'll notice that the things that we unwrapped earlier that we wanted to stay like this represents 4 of these things later, so they've stayed together. So that's very important. All right, so now let's just pack this mess, shall we? Let's move everything off and let's get all the big stuff first. Like these. So the 2 halves of the wing are very important. Let's try and get this, all this mess in here. Okay. I say mess just because these things are very complex shapes. I want to make sure that we treat them as appropriately as possible. Okay, so fins can actually go inside. Anything that we can fit inside these holes is great, and it's just kind of wasted space. So let's make use of them. This is the lens for the camera, so we need to make sure we're keeping things as much as we can together for how it makes sense. So I'll like put these things together, and I'll take the lens and put it in the middle here if we can, or actually I don't want to crowd it. Put the lens in there. Okay. Pretty good fit so far. Trying to keeping track of the mind that this has to be square or square-ish when we're all done. So trying to keep things. Whoops, no, just that. Keep things in sort of a square notion. So this is for the rotor, or at least that's what I'm calling it. I don't know if that's exactly the correct term. Okay, put that on the end. Cap that off, and then all we got left is this stuff. You can go in the middle. Space for you in there. Not really a good, well, we could do this and move all you guys up. I'm not worried about this guy because he is it's going to be pretty much just a standard sheet of metal, so it doesn't really matter if he gets a little, it looks like he gets a little weird. He's not actually getting weird, so that's good. Alright. Now these two things are just crazy long and there's nothing much you can do about it really, so you just got to find a place for them. These are the interior edges of the rotors there, so. Okay. Alright, so we got it all packed up. Let's bring it down. So come on. Okay, and we're going to have to make some adjustments later because we still need to leave room on the sheet for those poles that we haven't made yet. So make sure nothing's too permanent. All right, you need to go over there. Select everything just a little bit. To make sure everything fits without too much excess space. See, that just barely fits there in the corner. Oops, don't do that. It's fine, right, where is that? Now I go through packing it and just making sure that everything that I can keep together, I kind of try to. So I would make use of holes like this. Oops. Just one piece, please. There we go. Try and place these large pieces first. So things like that all stay together. Again, we're going to still have room for the poles later on. So I'm leaving a lot of extra room, some flexibility in that respect. Making sure there's no more any other questions. You guys have any questions, please let me know. Be happy to help. Okay, there we go. Flip you around and pack you right there. Okay, so now we have room for some of the extra poles and things, and we should be good with that. So we'll collapse all that. Thank you. Yes, there we go. All right. Good. That's a lot of behind the scenes kind of work, but it's definitely necessary. Now we can do our trick again, but we're going to use element this time so that we can select everything by element. Pardon me. So if we unhide the high poly work and we go to the 10, we can look around. So I know the fin goes forward. So with my low poly selected, I click on element and say auto set key 10. Let's go forward on the Y by 10. Should be all set there. Yeah, there we go, we're all set. All right, now we're back on track. Now the nice part is, since this is all one object, the center part has already been set. So you don't have to come back here and hit set key every time. You should just be able to do this and say x minus 10. Now if I go directly to this piece, for example, and say, oh, this goes to 10, now when I set back, you see, it all comes back together. So it's a lot faster the second time around. I need to make sure I select all those elements, so that includes those things. So 10 on that. And all the elements involved in this. Should be all that. And minus 10 on that. There we go. So that's everything. Save that. Just a couple more steps and we're golden. So now we have our high poly and our low poly together. And our high poly should have all the turbo smooths turned on. We can double check that. Turbo smooth. Okay. So we need one final piece. We need a cage, which is just going to be very close next to it. And then all the unwrapping, baking rather, takes place in Designer. So let's go ahead and make our cage, which is a copy of our low poly. I'm just going to add a push modifier. I'm going to zoom in here on one of the more complex shapes like this, and we're just going to tag it up a little bit. 1, 2, 3, probably no more than 0.05 to be honest. It's just going to be just a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay, that should be good. Let's do some exports. Save, file, export. Export selected. And in the drone folder here, OBJ, I'll call this drone underscore LP underscore, sorry, this is cage. So that'll be the cage, and we must have texture coordinates turned on, that's important. There we go. So undo that. So low poly now. File, what I do is I unchecked push, okay? Export selected. I'll call this drone low poly underscore EXP for exploded. Now we will export that. Done. I'm just going to hide this so that everything else I select should be my high poly. Say export. Export selected. You guessed it. Drone JP. No, drone HP. That's that. We don't need texture coordinates, but it doesn't really matter. So there we go. Give that a little bit longer. Now it is a couple million polygons. All right, and we're done. Now, I'm gonna hide all of my high poly stuff. I'm gonna unhide all of my low poly stuff. And what is that? Yeah, I keep. Oh, that's that. Okay. I keep wondering what that is. Okay, so let's bring all this together. And now for my low poly, the main body is now everything, but it's only one fin. See that? These other fins are still here. So we can add those, and we can add the 4 of these, but we're going to have to separate things out, okay? So what we're going to do here is, let's delete that, and I'm going to select everything that is involved in the body. I'm going to make a duplicate of that, detach, oops, no. Oh yeah, there we go. Attach as clone. We'll call it A, because we're going to quickly reassign these. So A, so everything has a center pivot. So if I do mirror on the Y, say okay, there's the other part of that body. So that's good, just leave that there for now. This camera actually needs to be duplicated from this camera because it did not have UV coordinates. So we'll select this, select all of that. I need one face there, there we go. Boom, okay. So I'm gonna make a detach as clone, call it B. Okay, so I select B and I'm gonna do mirror, oh it does not have a centered pivot, so let me center its pivot. It does have center pivot to the world. That was strange. On the X, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to select the actual camera duplicate and just get rid of that. We're almost there, almost there. It's been a long time coming, but it's going to be awesome. Let's select everything that's involved in the wing. I think you see where we're going here with this. Hit detach, make a copy. So this cloned wing, what I'm going to do is mirror it across the axis and then throw a symmetry on it. Symmetry on the Y and flip it. Oh, that didn't work out the way I wanted to. Okay, well, that got us some of the way. Where's mine? Oh, that's what it was. Damn. Okay. Oh, no wonder. You know what? That just might work. What happens if I rotate it? 90 degrees. Does that work? No, it does not. Okay, sorry, I tried. Just have to make duplicates. Alright, so we'll mirror this across like so. Yeah, actually X and Y. And copy U and do only on the Y. There you go. So now we have all of our wings back. We're getting there. We're getting there fast. And I should be able to. We gotta select our fin here that has the coordinates. Okay. It's very important. I'm gonna make a duplicate of him. Attach, clone on the good fin. Okay. So now all these other fins we can get rid of because they don't really have what we want. So we'll delete all of those. And we should just have remember my place and the good fin. Now the good fin, we're going to, this is what we needed it for. To affect its alignment to remember my place. And now it should have, when we go to rotate it, no. So what good were you, remember my place? See, there's where remember my place is pivot. That's what we want. Okay, we'll just delete them. I'm gonna use this anyway. Oh, the best laid plans, right? Alright, so this center object here, we're gonna detach him. Just gonna flat out detach him for now. So what we're building here is our low poly that has all the instances in place. And that way we don't have to worry about any of that with the baking, because we're gonna bake a subset of what we needed. Okay, so now this guy has his pivot back, so now you should be able to align your pivot to you. There. So now this fin has the UV coordinates. So now when we do this, 45 and 7, boom. Now you're all set. So, oh, nope. So now if I take you and give you a center pivot again to the world. I know it's complex, but watch how my brain works. So now this guy's good. So now if we attach all the fins. I did not mean to click that. I meant to click. Why is it attaching? Oh, that one fin is still there. Okay. Get rid of you. That's why we do that. Alright. So now if I attach all of these, and if we take you and break you apart, detach, okay, so it's detached from the main bodies. Now the main body is just these pieces, which is okay. We take you and attach you to you, then now when we symmetry you twice, should be good. Symmetry mirror on the flipped X. Yes, thank you. And symmetry mirror on the flipped Y. And at long last, the whole thing is together. So let's save that, let's take a quick render. Looks pretty cool. Again, we're missing the little connecting bars, and we'll do that another time. I might extend this just a little bit so we can do some painting for you guys. Do a plus. Okay, this has a center pivot to the whole world. Fantastic. Let's attach it all together. Just click everything until it's all clicked. Click all the things. So let's call this drone low poly. And undo the attachment. So there we are. Finalized drone. This is the drone low poly. So now what we want to do is if we go into the UVs. So here's our UVs, and they look good. But what we need to do is take everything that's going to be a duplicate and make a shift of the UVs. Otherwise it won't work properly, okay? So things like the camera. I know the camera right away needs to be shifted. So we need to find the camera. So the camera is these pieces. Okay, just all of those, and the lens right there. So what we need to do is take all of one of them. So I want, that's annoying. Undo that, there we go. So all of one of them. So I'm just gonna drag like that and say, just give me that, offset by 1. So I've offset all of that by 1 UV tile, so now it won't mess up with our normal map, okay? Now the big one is going to be all these damn fins. Now we said originally we were going to make them all, separate, but honestly I forgot in the middle of doing everything. So here's what we're going to do is select this, and you. Get all of you. Move you by 1. Boom. Okay, can we do by element? Oh, that's so much nicer. by 2, and you have to go by 3. Pretty simple. Everything gets separated, that way we don't overstep our bounds. Okay? Same thing by the wings. The wings all need to do that too. Let's go by 1, by 2, and by 3. There we are. Okay. And what we need to do also, also the body. The body stuff needs to go. So all of that, because it's two sides, so one of those. There we go. So almost everything is mirrored. I mean, not mirrored, but has a duplicate somewhere. So what is this? This is the interior. Oh yes. This guy needs to move by 1. Oh, sorry. By 2. Doesn't matter. It has to be a whole number, like that, and it can be over 1, up 1, anything you like, as long as you can remember where it's been moved to. I think that's everything except for the fins now. So the fins, oh boy, the fins. So this is where you get to a point where you say 1, you know, you do 2, and then I do like up 1, minus 1, that kind of thing, but I think I'm just going to speed through these. 4, 5. And even though it's painstaking, it's definitely worth it, because otherwise you will end up with errors. They're all on top of each other. 7. This is a good opportunity if anybody has any questions, any comments, any thoughts. Let me know, and I would be happy to answer. Just gonna type in a couple numbers real quick here for a moment. I know that's incredibly awesome to watch. I apologize, but it's part of the work. Anybody watching this after the fact, just speed through this part. I think I started that one, so 16, 17, 18, 19. Fortunately, it's pretty quick. Only got 1 rotor left. And I think it's worth it for a quality asset. So. Okay. Okay, there we go. That's everything. You can see them all spaced out there. A couple times I missed count, but that's okay. Doesn't matter. That should be everything. So there we go. Collapse all. Yes. Finally. Okay. So let's do a export. Export selected. I'm going to call this drone LP. The reason I have LP exploded there, that's what we're actually going to bake off of, but the drone LP is what we're actually going to paint on. So we're going to bake one thing and paint something else. All right, so here's what we've all been waiting for. So welcome to Substance Designer, if you've never seen it or used it before. The graph doesn't really matter at the moment because we're just going to use it as a tool. So I'm going to import. Oops. Oh, link a 3D mesh. Sorry, that's what I'm going to do. And we need to find our project folder. So D, int completed models, drone. We need the cage, the high poly, and the low poly exploded. So open those 3 files. There we are. So I'm going to right click on the low poly exploded and say big model information, and this will come up. So now what I need to do is give it a couple of paths. So I'm going to give it those paths right now. Let's say int dev completed models drone. Okay, there we are. We're going to do 4096. We're going to go big and then scale back down. And the cage file is from a resource. Cage. Okay. And the high poly, high definition mesh right here is from a resource as well. High poly. And you'll notice when I did that, now all of these have check marks. So what you do is the first one is your normal map, and then you can link everything else up. So I have all the settings here already set. So once I generate the normal map, it's going to use that to generate the ambient occlusion, generate the curvature, generate position, and a world space normal. So I'm just going to click OK, and we wait just a moment. I don't think it's done quite yet. But we can actually watch for the progress here. If I go to the folder where it's going to be spitting out these things, now you can see they start to appear. So I'll minimize that, give it a moment longer. It says not responding, but I know that it's doing it. Let's go back to our drone folder. You can see it's been generating files here, so ambient occlusion, curvature, normal map, position map. We still need the tangent space normal. I think that's the last one that it needs to generate. So curvature looks pretty good. Okay, I think it's done. Yep, you can see here are our textures. So I open up a normal map, here's our normal map. So a couple of these things look like they baked really well. That baked really nice. Let's take a look at some of the more interesting bits. That's got a little bit rough around those edges. That might have been something I did. But it's okay. We'll go for it. Fins look clean. Okay. So that's all good. So let's open up Substance Painter. So I'm just going to minimize Designer, open up Painter. Okay, so here's Substance Painter. So let's say File, New, OpenGL, select our mesh. Our mesh is going to be in our project folder, so pardon me, let's go there. Completed models. Drone. Now we're going to choose the low poly this time. Even though we baked the a different thing, we're going to use the low poly. So here I'm going to select the maps that it already made. And since they're all named the same, it will import them all, no problem. So here's our model. A drone flying around. Looks really cool. Okay. So let's go ahead and plug in our maps. So select our normal map. Give it a moment. That's the one I want right there. Normal map plugged in. You can see we have our seams. We have all of our seam lines. Gonna be nice. There's a little bit of an error there. I'll have to figure that out and fix it. But that looks really smooth. Everything looks really good there. So that's look good. I'm gonna turn off the background for a little bit so we can see what. You can also move the light too, so you can move the light and see what you're looking at. Very similar to Marmoset, if anybody's ever used Marmoset. Now let's take a look at our camera lens. That came out pretty nice. And that's on that side. On this side, no, it did not flip properly, but that's okay. That's okay, I like it. Okay, let's get the rest of it here. World space, put that in there. ID map, we don't have one. Ambient occlusion, curvature, and a position map. There's our position map. Okay, cool. So here's what our model looks like with just the baked maps on it. It looks pretty awesome. And we haven't even done any painting yet. You know, it looks really cool as is. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of painting really fast. Try and cap this off at 8:30 so we're not going all night. Let's take a look at our references. So this would be a good reference for basically 2 bits of pretty shiny plastic, maybe 2 or 3 tertiary colors, and we'll just go with that. So put that right there. Okay, so let's create a folder. Let's call this dark gray. Create a folder and call this black. It's not really going to be fully black. And light gray. And one more for the actual lens. Okay, so for each of these, I'm going to create a black mask. I'm going to turn on my geometry and go to a solid white color. It means I want to add to the mask. And I'm going to choose the lens, which is right there, because this is the lens. So I'm going to zoom in here. Let's see, there's the lens. So now as I add a solid color layer to this, and if I add anything, if I just add bricks, I know it's gonna look stupid first, but there you go. So it's only being added to that area. So that's what we want, okay? So I know that there is a uniform rubber, which is what I want to start with for that exterior. Now I'm gonna add a paint layer for the actual glass, which is spelled with 2 S's in case you're wondering. And uniform pure mirror, yeah. Let's go for that. And I'm just gonna zoom in on the texture here and see if I can paint this. See how good my eye is for this. I need a brush that is perfectly circular though. And this is a little too We'll try and add a little bit in here. So that'll be our approximation of the lens for the moment. To get a perfectly circular brush to kind of cut that out a bit better, but there's that for now. Okay, so we got that knocked out. So for the light gray, the lighter gray pieces, I want this to be the fins, these center pieces, just these pieces, not the centers for that, or rather the centers but not these pieces, and the those things. So for the light gray, let's select that, let's add a mask. And again for the UVs, whoops. Okay, so for the UVs I want the fins. I want the center console thing, so that. I want just these guys. And I want these. I think that's all I want. Okay, good. Let's add solid fill for that. Okay. And I'm going to do uniform black. And then I'm going to adjust the color for this. Okay. So that looks pretty good as is, but I'm going to make this very rough. I don't want this to be very metal at all. Maybe 8. I'm going to change this to be, this is our light gray, so this is going to be closer in this range. It's going to be more like that. Okay, that looks pretty good. And call this base. There we are. So let's do our black, which is, again, not going to be solid black, but black mask. So for the black, what I want this to be is the body. So the body for both sides, and the wings. But I don't think I have to select it like that. I think I got it. Yeah. Okay. So let's add a fill to that. Uniform black, or more like that. Oh, I need to add the add a couple more things to the mask here. Luckily, this is very interactive, so I can choose that. Make sure I got everything. Okay, there we go. Looks really cool. Something got a little messed up there on the ends. I might have to go back and fix the cage and rebake. Nice thing is you can rebake and re-import those, and it will automatically just pick up and keep going. So there's no need to worry about that at all. There we go. Okay, and everything else is going to be our dark gray. So black mask. It's going to be these guys. Scroll out. So you, you, and you. Okay. Let's add a fill. This is just the beginning fills that we're working with here. We're going to go back and we're going to be adding a lot more to this. So again, very rough. And this will be a dark gray. So whereas our light gray was up there, this will be in here. Well, there's not much difference between dark gray and black, but trying to add a little bit of difference. There we go. There we go. And now all we're missing really is the exhaust intake there. So let's see what we can do with that. So I'll delete this. Let's add another folder. I'm gonna call it the exhaust, even though it's kind of like an exhaust intake combo. Let's do a black mask. Select it. Add a material. What I'm going to add is actually add something different. Show you some more of the materials you can add, which have other parameters, and we can actually, yeah, there we go. Let's throw that in there. And now for this, what I can do is rotate. Okay, rotate by 90 degrees. The scale factor quite a bit, so like 8. There we go. So there's like exhaust ports. Pretty quick and easy. Now what we can do is add some dirt to the whole thing. So what I'm going to do is, how do we do this again? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to add a fill layer, a general fill layer. And I need to add a black mask without that. Now on the mask, I'm going to add a generator. The generator is going to be grounded dirt. Now, the cool thing about this is it automatically loads the position map, and the position map determines the dirt level. So if I drag this down, you should see the dirt go down a bit. As I drag it up a little bit, it should be starting with the underside gets dirty, and then the top gets dirty after that. So I'm going to do something like that. So that the underside got dirty first. And that's what the position map does, is it starts you at the bottom and works its way up to the top of getting dirty. There we go. Didn't want it to be too prominent, just actually I do want that, and then we'll just add it as a as an overlay. A little bit of dirt to everything. I think we're going to have to add that individually to each piece, because things like the fans wouldn't make a whole lot of sense that they wouldn't get so dirty right away, because they would be very, you know, in motion, and it's actually discoloring these. I don't want to discolor the cameras. So what I need to do here is take this and I can copy it and put it everywhere except the lens. Paste. So now what this should do is, because it's underneath a folder, let me see if it's doing what I think it's doing before I brag that it's doing that. Light gray. Yeah, there it is. Correct? Yes. Okay, so because it's underneath a folder, the folder has masking, so the masking of the folder is overriding the rest of it, which is great. So now what I can do here is I can, you know, affect how much dirt on a per area basis. So do a little bit of dirt there, but then take the same mask, copy it, go to the black, for example, paste it in here, and if it's above everything else, there we go. So now the black has the dirt that I wanted. And then we can go to the exhaust even and paste it in there. Just have to make sure it goes above the color layer. Okay. So now, for example, the exhaust, I think I would want more dirt there, because I think that's an area that would definitely get a lot going on there. Up the dirt height a little bit on that. Yeah, there we go. It's coming in. Just gotta give it a second. The bars, the bars tell you when it's thinking. There you go. Not quite so much. All right. There we are. Perfect. Okay. And one more area. I'll paste it. Still on my clipboard, so I can just keep pasting it. Paste it right above. And voila, dark gray. Bring that up a bit. Not quite so much. There we go. And there we go. Okay. So there we go. So in just over 3 hours, guys, we've created an object from scratch. We've unwrapped everything. We brought in a Substance Painter, used Substance Designer to bake some of our textures here. And everything's all done. So there's one final step, which is let's take a look at our object in Unity like we started to in the beginning. So I'm going to save this and let me put it in the correct place. Always be organized. Completed models. Drone. There we go. So drone live stream. Save it there. Now here's the magic part, okay? I'm going to say export all channels. I'm going to choose Unity 5 standard metallic. I'm going to tell it I want you to give me targas, and we're going to choose a location for this. I'm going to choose documents, asset test. There we go. Let's go materials, textures. We're going to dump them right in the textures